Welcome back. It's me, Lou. Okay, so not too long ago, I reviewed this guy right here. This is the DC Superpowers Batman, as produced by McFarlane Toys. This is kind of a throwback to the older style of action figure that was produced by Kenner way back in 1984. I love this new line by McFarlane. I think it's fantastic. It really takes me back, because when I was younger, I did actually have a small collection of the Kenner produced superhero figures, much like this Batman right here. Um, I love the throwback design. I love the fact that these are like kind of like, you know, classic articulation, much more classic presentation and the package design. And they're fun figures. I mean, they're great. They do a great job of mimicking this old style of action figure. So once this line came out, there's a couple of vehicles that are out currently at stores. You can find them at your local Walmart. There's the Batwing, and there's also the Superman Mobile. So me thinking, it's just a matter of time before McFarlane gives us a Batmobile in this scale. And I'm very impatient. So far, to the best of my knowledge, McFarlane has not yet announced a Batmobile for this toy line. And, it got my gears thinking. And I'm like, you know what? I think I know a place that carries a Superpowers Batmobile. So, one of my favorite local collectible toy stores, Wax Packs Records and Toys, located in beautiful Roselle, Illinois. For some time now, they actually had a 1984 Kenner DC Superpowers Batmobile. It's actually one of my holy grails. It's something I've always wanted, even as a child. And they had one in stock. It's been there. It's been in the shop for a while. And since the McFarlane line came out, I decided to pull the trigger, and I got it. So here it is. This is the 1984 Kenner produced DC Superpowers Batmobile. It's beautiful. This is like I said, this is something that even as a child, when I was younger, I've always wanted. By the time the DC Superpowers figures came out in the mid 80s, I think I kind of abandoned superheroes at that point, and I was kind of like into like G.I. Joe and Transformers, and then shortly thereafter, like video games, like with the Nintendo Entertainment System and the Sega Master System. But this was something that, even when I stopped buying toys or playing with toys as a child, I had such fond memories, not of this toy, but of this style of Batmobile. I can't explain it, but I think to me this is probably, for me anyways, one of the definitive versions of the Batmobile. Like it's always been kind of a toss-up for me, whether it was the Batman '66 Batmobile or the '89 Batmobile. But I think in the long run, I think this style of Batmobile has always kind of held the deepest place of my affection. I can't really explain it. There's just something about the color scheme and the design that I don't know. I just think I think it's fantastic. It looks great. It echoes some design elements of the '66 Batmobile, especially with the dual windscreens and the way the passenger and driver seats are kind of situated. It has a very 80ish kind of like sports car kind of style. It just looks really cool. There's certain curves and lines that kind of remind me of a Corvette or like like a speedster from this era. And it's just really, really, I don't know, such a beautiful, well done vehicle. And it's just awesome. Everywhere you look at it, it's just so well designed. Like when you view it from the top, there's actually a bat symbol over here. Here's the body of the bat, and then there's the ears, and it kind of splays out into the wings. And then you have the bottom points towards, over here. The back kind of resembles the bat, like the bottom of Batman's cape. you know, with the curves and the points. The fins aren't too high, they're just right. And it's like I said, the convertible design is just awesome. I love the chrome wheels with the Batman emblem on them. So yeah, I couldn't resist. Ever since the McFarlane line came out, I knew that I needed a Batmobile for my Batman, and I wouldn't settle for anything less but this. You know, in all the period of time that Kenner and Mattel have been producing Batmobiles, which is like, you know, for Kenner, it was, you know, for such a long time. I think when Hasbro had the license, you know, with the animated series, they produced a large number of Batmobiles, and Mattel, they've produced like an unlimited amount of Batmobiles. You know, it seems like almost every iteration of Batman, they had an animated series. Throughout the 2000s, Mattel had an answer in terms of the Batmobile. But I really just wanted this. This is the one that I kind of fell in love with when I was younger, and it's awesome. I did have to pay a pretty penny for it, but for the most part, you know, it's because it was in such great shape. You know, if you hunt these down on eBay, they're always like going to be missing one of the windshields. Often the stickers might be destroyed or be flaking off. Sometimes they're missing the front here, and they're always just generally beat up. This one was in such beautiful shape. I think the only flaw in mine is that under this wheel right here, there's like this white plastic piece, which I think is like it produces sound. It's almost like a clicker. It's the equivalent of taking like a playing card when you're little and then kind of inserting it into your bicycle spokes, so it makes that clicking noise. You know, as this wheel spins, the inside of the wheel kind of has I think the inside of the wheel has these plastic pieces, and I think this piece here kind of would rub against the wheel as the wheel would rotate, and it produced almost like a clicking sound. I think that was the function of this. But besides that, this thing was almost pristine. It was really dirty and grimy and scummy and dusty, so I had to clean it off. When I purchased this the Batmobile from the owner of the store, my good friend Aaron, I told him that my intent was to buy this, remove all the stickers, take this apart, and just throw it into my sink and just clean it and scrub it off. And the minute I said that I was going to remove all these stickers, he looked mortified, and he explained to me that was a bad idea, because he told me that, you know, half of the value of this toy is in the fact that it had the stickers intact, and that it was still, you know, well presented as a collectible overall. You know, despite the fact that it was kind of dirty and grimy, it was in really decent shape. And if I took the stickers off of this, it's like immediately the value of this toy would just like plummet, and it'd be almost not that it would be worthless, but, you know, I'd easily just be removing like, you know, half of the collector's value off of this thing. So I took my buddy's advice. I left the stickers on, and to the best of my abilities, you know, when I cleaned this off, I just tried to avoid getting the stickers wet. So that was the thing I had to do. Luckily, that these toys from the 80s are easy to disassemble. There's a couple of points here where you just kind of remove the screws, and then you remove the top. Thankfully, the inside wasn't like disgusting like that one Batmobile that I had. If you've been watching my videos, like a few months ago, I bought a Dark Knight or Legends of the Dark Knight Batmobile, and when I took it apart, there were like dead spiders on the inside. Thankfully for me, this one did not have any dead bugs inside of it. I did have to clean out some of the old metal pieces. For example, you know, the metal axle that runs across here was kind of rusted, so I had to kind of clean the rust off of that. Likewise, there's a lot of spring-activated mechanisms inside of this, which we'll go over. So I kind of had to reset the springs and clean those off. And once I did that, you know, I just put the thing back together, cleaned it off, and, you know, gave it a nice polish. Not literally, but, you know, just wiping it down and making sure it just looked nice. And it's almost good as new. There's some scuff marks, but for the most part, it's beautiful. You know, I don't think I'd be able to find a better one on eBay for a decent price, you know. So I'm very happy to add this to my collection. this is like I said, this is one of my holy grails. You know, I've always wanted this ever since I was a child. And even though I paid a pretty penny for it, I kind of feel like it completes, you know, my Batman collection a little bit. So yeah, I'm stoked. You know, hopefully this guy will fit inside of here. I haven't actually put a figure. I haven't deposited a figure in here yet. Just because I've been saving that moment for the video. You know, because I'm a nerd like that. But before we do, let's talk about, you know, this toy in general. You know, some of the play features, and just examine it closely. So this is a pretty sizable vehicle. It's probably it's over a foot long. I know that. So I'm guessing it's about maybe 13 to 13 and a half inches long. It's scaled for, like, you know, this style of action figure, which is, you know, like a roughly 4-inch scale action figure. The detailing and sculpting is nice, you know, especially considering this time period. You know, this car design really evokes the kind of automobile style during the 1980s. And like I said, it kind of pulls certain elements from the Batman 66 model, you know, especially with the windshield. Surprisingly, this Batman emblem is actually screened onto the plastic. This is not a sticker, which is, you know, great for me. These on the inside are dashboard stickers. Same with right here. There's some nice detailing behind the driver and passenger seats right there. Here's the back. You have some lights. As you can see, it looks like one of the stickers is slightly peeling off just a little bit. It's not too bad. And it's awesome. Alright, so in terms of the play features, there's a button here that you press. And then there's these two things here. So you press this. And then this capture claw comes out. So for example, let's say you have... Let's pretend this is like the Joker or the Penguin. You stand him here, press the button, and then all of a sudden the villain or whatever character is ensnared in this capture claw, which is awesome. The capture claw seems to be a reoccurring theme in a lot of superhero vehicles. You know, if you saw the old Toy Biz Batwing, which I might showcase in a future video also, because I got really vehicle crazy and I started just buying Batman vehicles, and I found 89 Batwing, and I'll hopefully I'll show that off in the future. But much like much like this, the Batwing also had a capture claw. So this is pretty neat. It's spring loaded. When I bought the toy, the play gimmick here, it wasn't functioning properly. It wasn't until I disassembled this and reset the spring and cleaned everything that I got this thing to be working, you know, smoothly again. So there's that. In the front, there's this yellow lever here, and then what this does is that you see the eyes of the bat head in the front. If you push these forward, it's kind of hard to see, but these actually rise up from the hood of the car. They're almost like headlights. So you push the lever in, and then the headlights come up. So these headlights are actually, you know, they operate through this. You know, push this in, they pop up, pull them back, they retract back into the hood. Lastly, there's another function here. Right here, there's a little switch. You press this, and then you get a battering ram. So it's spring loaded. And again, when I bought this toy, this wasn't functioning properly. You know, all those years of neglect, the joints of the springs were kind of dirty and also rusted. So I just kind of cleaned them off. And with the metal pieces, you know, generally when I clean off like rusted metal inside of vehicles, for me that entails using WD-40, maybe like a cotton swab, and just gently scrubbing the metal until the rust comes off. And, you know, 90% of the time it does a good job. And if there's springs, you know, likewise, I'll clean the rusted springs with WD-40. And I'll also check to see how tight the springs are. If the springs are kind of mushy and loose, I'll kind of stretch them just a little bit to kind of give the springs their bounce back. So I'm really happy that I got the play functions working again. You know, it's a really, really cool toy. All right, so here's the moment of truth. We're going to take this Kenner-style Batman and put him in the driver's seat. I don't have the cape for this guy because I bought this guy without a cape, found him on eBay. And he fits perfectly. I do have a Robin that I could, you know, put in the passenger side, but, you know, for now, there's Batman looking pretty suave in his 84 classic Batmobile. And let's see if the McFarlane figure will fit. So for the McFarlane one, we'll remove the cape. And let's get him in a seated position. Yeah, it fits perfectly. I was a little bit worried because he felt a little bit wide on the shoulders, but yeah, it's a comfortable fit for the McFarlane figure. And then from the profile, I'll give you an idea of the height. So he's not too tall, he's not too short, he's just right. And that looks great. So I'm really hoping that McFarlane gives us, you know, a Superpowers Batmobile. You know, whether or not it's going to follow the original design, you know, that I think that's going to be the question. But, you know, I think this is a matter of time. They've given us the Batwing and then the Supermobile. So I really think it's, you know, without a doubt, they're going to give us a Batmobile. It's just a question of what model, what design, and when. And if I'm a betting man, I'm guessing they'll probably give us something close to this design, but not exactly the same. It'll probably still retain the blue color scheme and have like orange like windshields on it somewhere. And I'm kind of doubtful that they'll keep the oval Batman emblem, just because, you know, the figure has a much more modern take on the Batman emblem without the oval. But we'll see. You know, I'm hoping that McFarlane produces one for a very fair price. And of course, even though I do have this, if McFarlane makes a Batmobile, without doubt, I'll buy that one as well. So yeah, I just wanted to share this with you. Very stoked to add this to my collection. It really makes it, for me anyways, it makes the new McFarlane line a little bit more worthwhile to collect. You know, because during this time period, like I said, I wasn't really into superhero figures. So, you know, with the release of the McFarlane toys, it's like I'm given a second chance to collect that style of action figure and kind of like, you know, live out a part of my youth that I wasn't really invested in like superheroes at the time. All right, so let's wrap this one up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer, subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. All right, later.